Hi, everyone. This is Mr. Fred from GetMeCoding.com, and I am really, really excited to take a few minutes to sit down with a really, really good friend of mine, Dave Recchione, and we're going to talk just a little bit about what Scratch is like and the coding course that GetMeCoding.com is offering. And, well, I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to just let Dave talk about it. So, Dave, you're a software developer, and I know that you have some great experience, and I was wondering if you could tell everybody a little bit about your background.
Sure, Mr. Fred. How are you tonight? Thank you so
I
much
am
for
doing great. I appreciate you taking the time tonight.
Hey, my pleasure, man. It was a lot of fun going through the course, and just for a little background, yeah, I've been a programmer for over 30 years. Went to college for it back in the late 70s and early 80s, and when I got out of college, I found kind of an independent gig that I did. You'll get a kick out of this. The production, it was a production company, and they made pressure transducers.
Oh,
And I was part of a team that helped design a testing system, and it was all analog to digital kind of stuff. And the machine of choice was a Commodore 64. Yes. So right out of college, I was doing crazy things with a Commodore 64 and an analog digital converter and writing in BASIC, and we got the job done, and that was a lot of fun. But from there, I had my first quote unquote real job. I was working for another small independent company, and what they were doing is they were doing software programming for independent banks in the New York area. Um, I live in Niagara Falls, outside of Buffalo, so it was more Western New York stuff. That was all done on the old NCR mainframes and doing COBOL and all that fun stuff. But as that was happening, all the PCs were starting to come in, so the Packard Bells were starting to be a thing, And again, I started coding in BASIC again, and we started doing some stuff. And after about 7 years there, I took a position in the company that I am now, which is a software company for credit unions, and we have like over 300 credit unions that use our software package to run the credit unions. And I'm one of the senior programmers there, and I've been there for like 24 years. And that that when I got there, we were coding in DOS Basic, good old DOS.
wow.
And Windows started kind of becoming a thing. And eventually we did the software, but we are a little bit behind the times. I'm a little bit of a dinosaur because we're still our system is in Visual Basic 6. So
Wow.
yeah, and so that's where I am, and that's kind of where my background has been. And like I said, I've been doing it for over 30 years. So
Well, and it's amazing. Well, you've been doing it a long time, and
yeah.
really, it probably becomes like almost like a habit. You sit down, you start working through your code. It's like breathing air, I'm sure, right now.
Yeah, it's funny because after 30 years, you've seen a lot, and you've programmed a lot, and you've almost seen any sort of situation that come up or trouble spot. And some of the younger folks that are coming out of college, it's funny. If you only listen to me, I know what's going on here, but you got to let them learn the learning curve and all that stuff also. So. But it's been good. It's been a good living, and I'm glad that I made it my profession for sure.
Well, I mean, I think well, you definitely have the experience, right, to
Right.
test anything out. So I know that I invited you into the free course, and also you took the other course, the full Scratch Coder course, for a test drive. And I was wondering if you can kind of reflect on what that experience was like.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. It was really a lot of fun, to be honest with you, Fred. The course and the material in the course was just really, really good. Speaking from somebody who has been a programmer for over 30 years, what I loved about it was really it was so easy to get results for somebody that is just starting to learn what the techniques are, what coding is all about. I loved how each of the tutorials kind of broke. They were building blocks. So, on one tutorial, you learned this, and that became a building block for the next thing. But each tutorial led you to something that you could say, hey, look at what I did. And it was kind of a really cool thing that you were able to do. And by the end of the course, I scratch the cat, but I'm not really a cat guy. So it was, Dave the dog that was going and bouncing all over the stage there.
That's cool.
But it was. But, it was it was interesting, like I said, because of my knowledge, I knew what the courses were trying to teach, you know, with looping and positioning and all that fun stuff. And if then, you know, the decision making. And they did it in such a way that I think young programmers won't know that they're learning, but it's fun, and they won't know that they're, you know, it's kind of a really fun way to learn. And I know I said to you after one of the nights where I think I was halfway through the course, I messaged you and said, I haven't had this much fun programming in such a long time. Because
imagine that, right?
Yeah, the course material is great, and just the results, the immediate results that you get from watching these short tutorials and then being able to play and do things. I found myself going beyond what the particular tutorial wanted. You know, well, let me see if he can do this, or let me do, you know, and some of the things that you know, the alternate you know, tasks at the end of each one of them. So cool. I really liked it. Like I said, it feels like a video game, you know, which I think young programmers will really they'll really be attracted to it. You know, there's a lot of movement, it's interactive, sounds and graphics, and I don't think anybody will ever get frustrated about, you know, learning coding, because you can achieve some really fun and great things with almost little effort, you know, and all the time. And by the end of the course, you've got some really basic and good skills.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think one of the things I've always strived for, especially even in my classes, I want to make sure that it's fun. And I know that everything can't be fun, but at the same time, I always ask that one question of why not? I mean, and I think what's really different about programming now versus learning to program in our day, we'll call it, in the 80s, you know, thereabouts. It wasn't as visual, right? Everything was more line text-oriented coding, and that still exists, no doubt. But the concepts and the process that you go through, Scratch does a wonderful job, and I cannot take the credit for Scratch, of course. That's a great tool created by the folks up at MIT, and you know, it's one of those things that all I'm doing as a teacher is putting that tool within a framework to move somebody along to code. And that's what teachers do. And I'm not saying I'm the greatest teacher in the world either, but it's one of those things that I'm trying to strive for. And obviously you having all that coding experience, it worked.
Don't sell yourself short, my friend. The way that you put the material together is really, really well done. You know, and like I said, you know, the way that you've segmented the tutorials and all that kind of stuff, it's easy to digest, and it's, you know, and in Scratch, like you said, you're using the tools, but how you present them and how you put those together, I think that's what really makes this course really good. You know, it's all that material is there. It's in a thoughtful manner by somebody who knows how to program, so you know what they need to achieve by the end of the day, at the end of the course, and you've given them methodical things, even though they don't realize that, you know, it's been methodically. It flows really well.
Well, thanks again, Dave. And yeah, that's it's very humbling to hear that coming from someone with your experience too. And one of the things that a lot of that's built from is my time in a lot of kids camps over the years, and tutoring young people over the years, and trying to really start to see what they're looking for so you can hook them. And I think that's where, I mean, I've been in a lot of classrooms where, you know, you felt like you were disconnected from the material and you weren't really feeling like you were achieving anything, or even getting it to work. You know, I'm sure you wrote programs in school or even real life, right? We write stuff and we don't see you said the instant results. So that's really what the goal of all this was. And I'm glad you really enjoyed that. That's cool.
I certainly did, man. You know, I think for allowing me to kind of go through it, because I can't say enough good things about it. It's really well done. Really
all right. Well done. Well, thanks. Well, I'm hoping to get some folks in there that'll be interested after hearing it from you and kind of going forward. But before we say farewell to each other here for now, I think what's really cool is what you're also doing on the side. When you're not programming, you're doing something known as DJR Music. And two things. First, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about DJR Music, what it's about. But more importantly, what I think I would like everybody to be able to take away is, here you are, a software developer, and you're also a creative type. And I have no doubt in my mind that some of that creativity probably is related to you learning the code over the years. I'm sure there's a connection in there. So anyway, just take it if you want to just give it a little quick.
Actually, that's a really, really, really good part. If I want to give any advice to a young person who's thinking about thinking, I want to tell them it's not a dry profession. There is creativity in writing code. There's creativity in knowing that you're writing for an end user, as we say, right? And how is that person going to how easy can we make it for the end user? I tell the young folks at work all the time, it can be easy for us, but we don't count as programmers. We need to make it easy for the end user because they're the ones who have the experience. So you're right. There's a lot of creativeness in there, and DGR music is a passion of mine. As much as I was in the computer classes growing up, I was in the music halls of the colleges growing up. I've been a musician for almost all my life, and I love to write. I love to arrange music, and also so what DJR music is really my passion business, if you will. I write theme songs for podcasters out there. I do my own original music. I have a CD out there that was all Disney music that I put a little jazz flavor to,
and it's very good.
Oh, thank you very much. The DJR music is both promotion on some original music and being a service for folks that are looking for music for either a video that they've done or a podcast that they've done. I hope that people would be able to come over and find me on the web.
Where can they find you? Yeah, go ahead.
It's real simple, www.djrmusic.com. There I'll have a bunch of the material that I've written, people that I've worked with, and pretty soon there'll be a thing up there for podcasters and other things, or what my services are and all that kind of stuff. And that's and that also attends to the creative side of my life also. So
all right. Oh, hey.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You got a lot going on. And once again, I want to just thank you for coming and just stopping by to talk for a little bit and kind of help spread the word a little bit about what we're doing at getmecoding.com. And you can come out there and you can sign up for the free course and go through some really cool tutorials. And if you really like it and if you get hooked, come on over and take the Scratch Coder course. And it does culminate. We've added some pieces, Dave, since you've been in there. It culminates into an activity where you do build out your first game. So we're going to be adding more games and other cool things as we keep on growing the course and adding another course along the way. But that's where you can find it. So djrmusic.com, getmecoding.com. They're all out there on the web. And thanks again, Dave, for popping by.
Hey, my pleasure, Mr. Fred. You have a great night. And everybody, get out there to getmecoding.com. You won't regret it, man. It's a great site. So
all right. Have a great one.
You too, buddy.